shirt don't fit like it used to. And I need another notch on my
Welcome,
belt. If you're looking for a
Baconators,
six-pack, muscled up kind of
That's
man, better
bacon.
look somewhere else.
You're talking a little bit of sports here tonight.
To lose a few
The boys in here a little bit. Get rid of my friends in here right away. Charlie, come on in, buddy. How you doing, Charlie?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. Living the dream.
You know, I got to point out, you put this in Georgia, Bill Goldberg, Georgia Tech, Atlanta Falcons, and WCW great. Bill Goldberg getting your music here going today. Gotta love it, man.
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite monster trucks as well.
You know, give me a couple bacon in here a little bit.
Go. Yes. Play that a little louder. There you go. Hey.
All right. So, Aaron, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Man, I'm doing well. I'm excited for tonight. We got a lot to talk about, but we got Troy in here a little bit too, though. Troy, how you doing?
Good. What's going on, guys?
Man, that's good.
Good to be back. A little Rammstein going there in the background.
I see that call in the background too. Let's get into that playoff season. Hershey
Go
Bears
Bears.
getting ready to
Yep.
make that run.
Back-to-back Calder Cup champs. Let's go.
Man, we can hope, right?
Yeah.
Go Caps, go! I'll take it while I can get it. But we got another buddy behind the stage here. Adam, how you doing, my friend?
Happy NFL Combine Week, everybody!
Brother, you have not told a lie right there.
It's
Welcome
the
to Combine Week and welcome to the show.
Let's go.
Adam, just too sweet.
Oh, Sunday's going to be fun after what we saw on Dynamite last night, but that's besides the point.
So, throw out there right away, Adam, you get a chance to go see Big Business in Boston. I mean, excited for that. But kicking right off into this, guys, we talked about it a little bit Tuesday, but AEW Revolution. So those who don't know, Charlie and Adam come out Tuesday nights with me. We talk a little bit of wrestling. Go on a little more detail on this. By all means, check out the show Tuesday nights at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. But, boys, we got a hell of a card this weekend at Revolution. Adam, flyby, what do you watch this weekend and why?
This just feels like an all-out type of card. Like, this has been storylines that have been building for months. I'm looking forward to Sting's last match. Let's just call it what it is. That is what the show is all about. It is his final wrestling match. Whether or not he stays around and manages Darby, I have no idea. But his last wrestling match, if y'all missed Dynamite last night, it was vintage WCW Sting. He descended from the freaking rafters. It was awesome. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And the world title match.
Right. Charlie, how about you, man? Quick hits on Revolution. What are you thinking? How do you feel going into it?
Yeah, I mean, Adam nailed it on the head. This is all about Sting, and that's what I'm gonna watch it for. He's going out. He's gonna go out with a bang. I like a lot of the championship matches, though. I think that it's gonna be all around a pretty good show. But I just hope that they do Sting right. He's got to go out on a win. He can't go out on a loss. Like that's all I'm asking for.
But I got to mention this one because we talk about it a lot on Tuesdays. But Timeless Tony Storm and Deonna Purrazzo.
Yep.
It is honestly a match I would not have predicted me being into. But, brothers, I'm buying into it. So
sure.
Yeah, all
Troy,
the championship matches.
I know you're a wrestling fan as well.
Yeah.
Looking at Revolution, what are you?
I'm just looking at the card right now, because I've told you guys before, I don't follow AEW too much. I click it on here and there. The card does seem a little loaded, and I'm a little surprised at that, only because I thought they'd want to give a little bit more of the attention to Sting in this situation.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a loaded card. I mean, I'm even looking at this scramble match. I mean, you got big names in that match. This is a huge card.
Yeah, Revolution's one of their big 4 pay-per-views.
I mean, with all this being said, like Sting has to go main event though, right? Doesn't
They
he?
are. Yes, they'll main event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
no way you build this up for 3 months and don't let him main event.
And the other thing, I agree with what you're saying there, Charlie. Like you'd think they want him to go out on a win, but like, isn't the all honored timeless classic tradition to lose on your way out, right?
You
Yeah.
never
And not only that-
retire
not only
on
that-
your feet.
And not
Yep.
only that, they're the champions. So what do you do if he does win? Like then you're forfeiting the titles. Like that doesn't.
Yeah,
make sense.
Darby eats the pin.
Yeah, I think you have to win. And as weird as this sounds, does Ric Flair get involved in this and end up screwing Sting somehow?
Man, I'm
Did
glad.
I
you
not
brought
mention a
that.
double swerve?
Like seriously.
Adam, dive into that point, please, buddy. Go ahead.
So last night, if you missed Dynamite, Ric Flair came out, swerved the Young Bucks, and sided with Sting. I said on Sunday we're going to see a double turn. Ric Flair will try to attack Sting and then turn around and then attack the Young Bucks, and we get a little double swerve. I don't know if this was they wanted to get it out of the way with, just to make sure the focus is on Sting, and it was a swerve the whole time, or if Ric Flair does cost Sting the match. I don't know. I'm just super excited. I don't care how they go. It's going to be amazing.
I mean,
television.
wouldn't that be fitting for Ric Flair to come in and screw Sting to end his career?
Absolutely.
But the
And
only-
I'm cool with
the only-
that.
The only thing I don't like about it is it seems like it takes a little bit of the spotlight off Sting and puts it back
Correct.
on Ric.
Yep.
That's the
But-
only thing I don't like.
What I'll say is this, though. Look at Sting's career. The guy has been selfless time and time and time again.
Yep.
I'm okay. If he chooses to let that happen, brother, I'm just going to enjoy it. Like I will not. I refuse to get mad on however Stinger decides to go out. Sting has been one of the most constant professionals. You will never see a dark side of the ring on Sting. Like, how many of the guys have we grown up loving we watch get dragged down by their, unfortunately, the lifestyle, right?
Yep.
I mean, Ric Flair will tell you himself. I mean, in his 30 for 30, talking about 10,000 plus women.
Woo!
Gross.
Man, a
Woo!
lot.
I mean,
Talk
like,
about Space Mountain.
I was not falling off yet. I mean, I'm just looking at all of this, and it's end of the day, Stinger is a class act. Everyone who knows him or has talked about him only gushes glory on him. And that's very rare in this business. In wrestling, enemies are made eventually, unless you're Stinger.
Yep.
So prop
Yep,
Stinger,
absolutely.
glad to see him going where he's going. But, you know, Adam and Charlie, I know we got some limited time with you guys. Gonna flip over right away to Atlanta and a little NASCAR.
Wow.
Crazy finish in Atlanta.
I didn't watch that live, but what a finish.
Man, that was great.
If I'm not mistaken, did I not read that only 5 cars weren't involved in some sort of incident in that whole race?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was a single digit. It may have been 5. Dude, it was crazy. That was some like super speedway racing. I mean, that's what Atlanta's becoming. I'll tell you this, and I've seen a lot of these races in person. That I feel like that was the best Atlanta racing possibly like the last 20 years. Like
Amazing.
probably since like Jimmy's first win in Atlanta or something.
That
was
is
probably the
exactly
best.
probably what
Harvick
Atlanta.
So exciting.
The Harvick
third-
finish was
Third closest victory in NASCAR Cup history. 0.003. And there's 2 of them sitting at 002. So I mean it really doesn't get much closer than that.
and
But-
third wasn't far behind either.
No,
nothing.
and here's
No.
the thing. So, like, the cool thing about this is I just want to run down the top 10 because this is literally the list of who's who in today's restrictor plate racing. Maybe not necessarily in this order, but like Suarez, Blaney, Kyle Busch, Austin Cindric, Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse, Ross Chastain, McDowell, Busher, and Ty Gibbs. These guys are like showing up at super speedways all the time. Like it's kind of cool. Ben and I was talking
Suarez and Chastain have themselves a hell of a little team, don't they?
Yes, and I'm a fan of the Watermelon Man for sure. Like that guy he's almost like NASCAR's new bad boy. The
Yep.
whole the wall ride, the Hail Mary, man. That was incredible. I've been a fan ever since, and he's aggressive. He's got a great attitude. But yeah, there Trackhouse. There was an article I saw the other day, and it's talking about how these aren't the new kids anymore.
Yep.
Trackhouse is out here regularly winning races. Like they're
Yep.
becoming one of the teams.
Yes, they are. They
That's the
certainly
new car, man.
And to think Flores, was just on Stewart Haas not that long ago, and didn't do anything well there. And now all of a sudden he goes to a new team, a team that doesn't have near the recognition that Stewart Haas has, and all of a sudden he's starting to kill it. So
Absolutely.
look out for this. This might be the new up and coming team for sure.
And I'll tell you the other thing with Atlanta is Mustangs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So two things. One, Charlie, to your point, if you're Atlanta Motor Speedway, you are out exactly that's how you wanted it. Best Atlanta race. They repaved it 2 years ago. So last year was the first time it became a faux super speedway. It's still a 1.5 mile track, but it's a super speedway 1.5 miles. It's not Daytona, it's not Talladega. It's unique. That was an insane finish. Secondly, I'm happy for Suarez. He's a good driver, a good guy, and it's nice to see him get a win, and we'll see what he can do in the playoffs.
I'm waiting for the day we get a guy that gets a win in the season and doesn't make the playoffs because we have a guy that has one win but gets beat out by a guy that has 2 wins. Do you think we'll ever see that, or do you think if you got a win, you're automatically in?
It's going to happen.
I think so too.
Probably eventually.
I think so too. And I think I think we're starting to see this with all these teams. I don't think the wins are getting spread out as much as they used to. And I think we're going to start to see some of these teams just start to dominate. You're going to get a few wins from each of these teams, and then you're going to get a guy that somehow snuck out a race with 1 win, and it's not going to be enough to get in because he's not part of a team,
So it all depends. The last several seasons, even with the new cars, usually there's been one driver that's in a tier, and then there's a smaller tier beneath them. Last year it was William Byron. 1 year it was Truex. 1 year it was Kyle Busch. And then Chase Elliott for a couple of years. Like there's just class of the field drivers, and then there's a group below them.
Yep.
And that group typically sucks up several wins.
Yep.
So if that starts going down, like it wouldn't surprise me to see AJ Allmendinger run a road course this year, McDowell win another super speedway. Like you have these drivers and the specialties at different, racetracks, and great. But Vegas this weekend, let's get back to a 1.5 mile track. Let's get off the super speedways and let's see what these teams have this season. Super speedways are different builds, they're different strategies and everything else. Let's see who actually can break out as the class of the field to start.
Other than the racing component, do you feel like they kind of waste money with the way they travel back and forth across the country? Don't you think it'd be smarter if they did it more geographically and kind of hit the East Coast and then kind of went in the center and then don't you think that would make sense from a business standpoint?
Some of its weather patterns and stuff.
Sure,
there's
I get
kind
that.
of a science to it, and there's also kind of there's some sponsorship stuff to it as well. So it's a whole mixed bag of things that goes into making that schedule.
It just seems like there's so much money in that business, and that a lot of it's being wasted on travel. Like it seems insane.
But the cars also are not being built where they are. The cars are being built wherever their home bases are and still have to get trucked out to the track. So if a car is being made for
no, that's my point,
in California.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
It's not going to matter. Like, isn't Joe Gibbs based in North Carolina?
I believe so.
Most of them are in North Carolina. The majority of the shops are. That's the heart, man. That's the heartland right there.
But let's be honest, boys. Racing does not care about gas costs. But they're going to burn gas.
Yeah, gas, nor tires. They don't care.
Right?
They turn left and they burn gas. Gas and rubber, who cares? That's going to happen. So, all that said, gentlemen, I'll move to our next topic here a little bit, and that's a little quick hit. but Caitlin Clark declares the WWE draft for this next year, foregoing her senior season at Iowa. Now, I, for one, am disappointed. I want to see a full 4-year, like, just go set herself apart from everybody. And as a Wisconsin fan, I don't want her there, obviously. But as a basketball fan, how cool would it be to have a true 4-year player owning every single scoring record for the rest of history right in front of us? But that's me. Aaron, what do you think about all this?
Well, yeah. First of all, what is she? 18 points away from breaking Pistol Pete, his all-time record.
It's basically done. Yeah. You know, I am one of those old men who wishes that we were back in the days where everybody played 4 years. You know, the funny part is it's not like she's, you know, if she stayed in for her senior year, she all of a sudden wouldn't be the number one pick in the WNBA draft. I mean, she's going to be the number one pick no matter what. So, you know, I'm happy for her. You know, I think I think she brings attention to. Hold on, my wife is down here making noise. Okay. No, she's bringing attention to, you know, the women's game, which is great. I got to be honest though, I'm not really sure. I feel like her impact on women's college basketball is going to be a lot bigger than I don't see the WNBA like taking off with Caitlin Clark,
Yes.
you know, playing there. You know, but obviously she's got to go somewhere. It's not like you could play college for, you know, the rest of your life or whatever, like some people I'm sure will want to do. So, I mean, I'm happy, like you said, Ben, I'm happy for her. You know, it'll be cool to see her break the all-time record. But yeah, I think if she stayed one more year, she could have put those records out of reach, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no one's touching that. Troy, how about you, man?
No, that point that Aaron just hit there at the end is exactly what I was going to say. Her impact on college basketball is going to far outweigh anybody's impact on the WNBA. That the WNBA is what it is, and I'm glad they have a women's league. I'm you know, I like that they have that opportunity that they can further their careers as well.
Yeah,
but
right.
College basketball, specifically women's college basketball, it has to be a bigger rating than WNBA. I can tell you how many women's college games I watched. I don't know that I can count on one hand how many WNBA games I've ever watched. So, I mean, maybe that's just me, but I don't feel that's me. I feel like that's the majority of people.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that is a majority of people. I mean, I don't really know anybody who, like, even women don't really watch the WNBA, you know. Right. So it's just, I mean, whatever. Anyway, go ahead, Ben.
Before we go down to Adam here, I want to ask, but how do you fix that? Like, what would make you want to watch WNBA basketball games?
I mean, you would hope it's a star, right? And maybe Caitlin Clark will be that, but I highly doubt it. I don't know. You need stars. You need stars. Yeah. LeBronna James. I heard she's available.
I mean, Ionescu's out there. But no, in all seriousness, you have Ionescu's out there. You have Elena Delle Donne taking a break from the game. You have Brittany Griner and now Caitlin Clark. I mean, it's the names of old are gone. Got it. Yep. Cheryl Swoops is gone.
Sue Bird, Rebecca Lobo. Right. Yeah.
They're coaching now, right? But I mean, Caitlin Clark, though, for me, is looking at a player who's historic level greatness. I mean, this is insane. But Adam, I want to hear your 2 cents here from your neck of the woods. What's the buzz for Caitlin Clark in the Northeast? Well, screw Boston and I'll come with it.
Notice how much I'm caring about the conversation. No, look, here's the deal. 2 years ago, it was some megastar that signed with the Aces. I've heard nothing since. Last year, it was Ionescu. I've heard nothing since other than her versus Steph in the All-Star game. This year, it's Caitlin Clark. She's breaking records. Maybe she's that next level megastar that the league needs to generate a modicum of interest. If she's that damn good, go to the NBA. If you're that good, go to the NBA. Because if you want to care about the WNBA, you got to go where the viewers are. Have an exhibition, have your top 5 stars in the WNBA form a 20-minute skirmish against pick a starting 5 in the NBA and go. Because something's going to generate WNBA interest, and there's not enough eyes on the product. And I don't know how you fix it other than you got to put them on the main NBA to get people to try to get eyes on the product.
But I think that's the problem though, is that you know, when you're watching professional sports, you want to watch the best in the business. And
correct.
You know, and that's in the NBA, and even the NBA's ratings aren't that great until the playoffs start. I mean, people don't necessarily watch NBA regular season games either. But like, I think of other individual sports, like tennis. You know, tennis to me in my lifetime is one of the only sports that I'd rather watch the women play than the men. You know, except back when, I mean, obviously when like you had Agassi and Sampras and all those guys, but since then, I men's tennis to me is unwatchable. I can still watch women's tennis, but I mean, I still remember the great rivalries of like Chris Evert and you know, you had Everett and you had Martina Navratilova and Monica Seles and all those.
McElroy.
Yeah, I mean, you had great players like that. I will say this, to go back to Caitlin Clark. One of the things that benefits her right now is that with college basketball and college sports in general, you have that base of fans that follows that college. You know, like I follow everything with the Wisconsin Badgers. I mean, some things more than others, like football and men's basketball, I follow more than say like hockey, but I still I cheer for that school. Iowa, you have that built-in fan base because people are Iowa Hawkeye fans. And the WNBA, there's not that. You know, it doesn't have the history of that regular NBA. And if it had that built-in fan base already, that then you could add an influx of talent like Caitlin Clark and them, then, you know, maybe I'll be honest with you, and I hate to do this because like I agree with Troy. You know, I'm glad that female basketball players have that opportunity to further their careers.
100%.
But at the same time, I don't really know. Like you.
So
I don't know.
With this question, then.
Can I just before I forget what Adam said? Adam made me think of something, and I'm just wondering. I want to throw it off the wall at you guys. He kind of said something about an exhibition between the men, which made me think of what if there's a way, and I don't know if this would help or not, but you do like a double header. Is that possible? Like the women play before the men or something? Or I don't know. I mean, they play at different seasons though. Is that right? Don't they? They do, play in the summer? Yeah. But maybe they could change that.
You could certainly change that for sure, because I feel like the WNBA plays, don't they play more like they start later in the season, and then I think they finish like more into the summer. And by that time, we're into baseball, and then you got football training camp starting. Like, there's just, I almost feel like, yeah, it would be better off if they just put it in with the men. I'm not necessarily saying like, you know, back in middle school where you know, the girls played before the boys, and, you know, you always played the same opponents or anything like that. But it probably would be better off, because you're certainly not getting any traction when you're playing the WNBA finals in like, you know, August or whatever it is, you know, and people are rather watch NFL preseason football, frankly, than that.
I want to put this out there, and, you know, Aaron, you're more into this than a lot of us are, but gaming has a factor in sports, right, guys? I'm looking at my own kids. When it comes down to watching sports, they care about who's the best in Madden, who's the best in the show, who's the best in NBA 2K.
Sure.
To me, looking at FC24, they brought the women's teams into that element to give them that exposure, and they didn't tank them on ratings either. To me, I'm looking at this saying, in my mind, give me a WNBA and the NBA game with legitimate rankings to say, okay, Caitlin Clark can beat Steph Curry if I'm going head-to-head. Just throwing it out there. Not saying it's always realistic, but it's still the idea of saying give them a legitimate shot and let gamers play as Sue Bird, as Ionescu, as Caitlin Clark, as Brittany Griner, gamers will push this. Fantasy sports and gaming are the two biggest pushers of individuals in a game. We've so far all talked about star power being a factor in what happens in sports. To me, get them in EA Sports. If it's in the game, it's in the game. Give me the WNBA in an NBA game.
Yeah, and I think NBA 2K is doing that. If I'm not mistaken, I actually have NBA 2K24. What?
They're putting WNBA in the new NBA game.
I believe so. I have to check.
There you go.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe you can also, like, if you create your own player now, female players can create their own, like, a female player. Whereas in the past, it's always been you had to create a, you could play if you were a female, but you had to create a dude, or whatever. So, they're finally changing that. So
that's one of my favorite features of the NHL game is that you can play all their farm clubs as well. You don't have to just use the NHL teams. You can play with the Hershey Bears. You can play. I saw that too. And I was just kind of laughing because I'm like, what? So they went from one viewer to two?
So
that would be accurate.
NWO Wolfpack Burner, go ahead and tell us what's that worst take ever. Go ahead and
I think he was talking about Adam playing the men or the women playing the men. I think that's what he was talking about.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
He, she. I don't know.
But now I will say to Adam's point though, didn't they just have a during the 3-point shootout on All-Star Weekend? I thought
Ionescu.
Yeah. So,
and Ionescu almost won.
You know what? But that's what they need, though. That's what I'm saying. Better than like a scrimmage. I mean, scrimmage they'll get killed. But I think that is something you need. You need a female. You need a Caitlin Clark or an Ionescu or whoever to win the 3-point shooting contest against a bunch of these.
Give us Clark, Ionescu. Give us some WNBA at the NBA All-Star game when you have a bunch of eyes on the product.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. That's about the only way I think you're really going to do it.
Is just spitballing off of how do you fix the WNBA?
Why not schedule a couple WNBA games during that All-Star break?
Yeah, why not?
Like at the All-Star game, like at the arena. Well, you know what I mean? Like
we talked before though too. All-Star games in general. Why is it mid-season? I get you want a break.
I think we were talking about it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah, it's dumb.
So this is where I look at this and say, look, if you want to do this and do the women solid, let All-Star Weekend feature around a big WNBA matchup. And if it's Las Vegas Aces, cool. Have the men go to Las Vegas and play a game that weekend there, and go invade the WNBA arena. But bring focus to that team, whatever it is. I'm not saying just the Aces, but I'm saying whoever that team is, give them that shout out, give them that screen time to make the game more relevant. So
you just gotta hope that you don't have too many feminists that are gonna say, that we don't need the men's help or whatever, because you could see that happening then.
Yeah, you could, but you just gotta ignore them then,
Right? I mean, that's reality.
They're also not running the league. They're not the ones, trying to bring in revenue and that. Well, I understand where that's coming from, but it's a business. The NBA is a business. The WNBA is a business. These are all businesses. So that's why you say in wrestling, you do what's best for business. It's the same thing when NFL free agency comes along. Brady stayed with the Patriots. It took less money because he wanted to win. It was best for business. You do what's best for business. Yeah. I hope Caitlin Clark is that person that can generate some interest.
Couldn't agree more. Wolfpack here. Throw up here on the screen again. Nothing else. Put a parlay on the Aces and the Mariners. Make yourself get interested in this. Just watch the games.
Yeah.
Are you really that busy in May and June? That's what we talked about before. Baseball doesn't matter until what? August to you? Throw it out there and enjoy it. Adam, I want to go ahead and you want to mention a few things quick about the combine and that's what I'm. Go ahead and hit before you have to go.
Yeah, well, I want to go one-on-one with the Toilet Ninja here. Atlanta boy, we were all smack talking here a little earlier. Atlanta boy, if If you want to go get Fields, by all means, go for it. I know you're a Colts fan. I know we went over this, but you live in Atlanta. Atlanta can go enjoy the mediocrity that is Justin Fields. I'm sorry. I don't think
Absolutely.
he can win a Super Bowl. I think he can get to the playoffs. I don't think he can win a Super Bowl. I hope he proves me wrong. But go trade a second and a third for him. I've been doing that in PFF mock drafts.
I'm not so
go
sure
trade
they
a
make it
second
to
and third for him.
playoffs.
Playoffs.
There's my guy.
Keep Fields away from my Patriots, please.
Oh,
But I
man.
think where Justin Fields is going to go, I think he gets traded at some point in the next 2 weeks before free agency hits.
It's 2
He
days.
has to. He has to. And why haven't more people been franchise tag? That's a whole nother point. I watched a little bit of the combine. I watched some of the defensive linemen today. One player stood out.
Sweat.
No. It's the kid out of... I didn't see the edge rushers. I saw the D lineman. And the one that stood out to me is the kid from Iowa. And I don't know his name, Lee or something.
Surprise. An Iowa
He
lineman stands out.
Stood out. He looked explosive. I don't know if he has the part of my language and probably inappropriate, the girth to be a defensive lineman in the NFL.
Brother,
he
Girth is
would get trucked by centers or guards.
Bad words said in this show in the past. You're good.
Okay.
Girth it up, my friend.
All right. Well, there's sweat girth, and then there's this guy who's like 100 pounds lighter. They're vastly different. I think he could be a really unique, like, edge rusher, linebacker hybrid. I don't know if he was playing with the D lineman. He's more of that weird, tall linebacker, but he really stood out. Sweat. I need to see some film of him, but he just seems like good luck running against him. Kind of like Vita Vea, good luck running against him.
Yeah, that's. I heard he's a good run stopper, but I also heard he got pulled off the field a lot on third downs. So
Well, right. On a passing down, there's no need. I didn't like what I saw out of Zion Logue from Georgia. I wasn't impressed with what I saw at the combine from him. And Dwayne Carter, I was very impressed with. He may have pushed himself into the second round.
yeah, I like Dwayne Carter.
So that's that. I apologize. I got to drop off. I got to go cast for my boys exemplify the final game of the regular season. Y'all have a great rest of the show, and thanks for having me on.
Take care.
Thanks, Adam.
See you,
Bye,
Adam.
guys.
See you, bud. Have fun.
See you, Adam.
All right. So, with all that said, jumping off here into the next topic, looking at on the topic of basketball, we talked about it a little bit before, guys, but looking at what we have in the NBA right now, we're not quite to that home stretch, but we're getting there, getting pretty darn close.
Yep.
As it stands, both conferences have a decent gap for that last playoff spot. But right now, you've got, looking at the bottom two in the East, the Bulls at 28 and 31, the Hawks at 26 and 32, and then the Brooklyn Nets at 22 and 36, the Raptors at 22 and 37. Call me old school, but those teams are kind of shit, right? Like, why are they in the playoff conversation?
Yep. No, I agree. I don't know.
That's the NBA, yeah.
Yeah, they expanded this playoffs for no reason. For no reason.
No, it's for
I don't-
money.
Well,
For money.
sure. I mean, sure, I get that. Yeah, you get a couple extra games out of it for playoffs, but
Absolutely.
that being said, weren't the Heat in a playoff game last year? And they made it all the way to the finals. So
Shut up.
Man, as
Bad
a-
memories.
as a
I don't want to
fan-
hear about it. No, you're right, though. You're absolutely right.
As
So,
a fan,
I
it's
mean-
great though.
Well, as a fan of those teams, yes, that you still have, that you're still alive and have a
Yeah.
chance. Because I mean, at the end of the day, with especially with basketball, in my opinion, all you have to do is get into the tournament, and anything can happen. I mean, granted, in a series, you think the better team, is going to win, more games than they lose. But I mean, we saw what happened to a certain team in Wisconsin last year. But they got hot. They were, sorry, Ben. I'm sorry. I got to say it though. It's part of the therapy. My therapist says it's better if I talk about it instead of holding it in. What was that?
So mine didn't. What the heck? No,
No, I mean, that's I've come to learn just from the Bucks experiences that in the NBA, I really, you want home court advantage to a certain degree, but all these teams can win on the road. I think there was a series last year where, or maybe it was 2 years ago, one of the Bucks series where every home or every away team won, like in the series. So it just, I would love to see the Bucks, for example, get the number 1 seed, but I saw that last year. It didn't work out. I've seen it with the Packers. It didn't work out. I feel like as long as you get in the tournament, I would love to be able to play, to go to a couple games or whatever, but I'll be able to. It's a series, So, I would like to see, as a Bucks fan, I know we were talking more about the bottom of the playoff picture, but like as a Bucks fan, I just want to see them kind of right this ship and start going in the right direction, at the right time. And it does seem like I don't know what the score was of tonight's game, but assuming they held on to win tonight against Charlotte, they're 4-0 since the break, and I feel like they're starting to figure out defense and what Doc Rivers wants them to do. And, I'm excited as we go down the stretch.
Fear the deer. Charlie, I haven't hit you in a while. The Hawks are sitting there at 10. How's Georgia feeling? What's going on down there? Is Trae Young going to pull it out or not?
Nobody cares.
Come on now. It's ATL.
No,
you guys care.
Look, because here's the thing. Because, a while back, we basically went under new management. And there was all this hope. And then there was, these moves. And then there was this trade. And for the last few years, only the folks, myself included down in Atlanta, because I have kind of adopted the Hawks, just wanted to believe that we got the better end of that trade. And it's not happening. And everybody that they pair with Trae Young, it just doesn't work. It's like we're good, we're okay, but not a contender. They just can't get to that level. Like no matter what. Like even with Neek, it was hard. I mean, for them to really be at that level.
It's
the Hawks. They do Hawk
Trae
things.
the new Russell Westbrook?
It's possible. I won't surprise me if he's not in Atlanta a whole lot longer.
Okay.
There was already rumblings a little bit before, about it could have, a trade could possibly happen, but
I thought there was.
Yeah, they'd be open to it. So, but I don't know. I just get the feeling it's just not working.
Yeah.
It's just not, it doesn't matter what coach you got. It doesn't matter what players you put around him, what style of players you put around him.
Yeah.
It's like, man.
So,
got rid of Paul Millsap. It's like, God,
hey,
I'm mad at them guys forever.
Charlie, I saw you sent a message in there that you do got to get rolling, so I don't want to hold you up here. Is there how soon do you have to get off now or?
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Yeah, we got some stuff. It's an early morning tomorrow.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to jump in? Anything else you wanted to say before you leave?
No. I do want to say about Caitlin though. As long as she beats Pistol Pete's record, she can go do whatever. Indiana's got the number 1 draft pick anyhow.
Well, Charlie, thank you very much for your time tonight, brother. Have a good night and good luck with all that's going on as well. And we'll talk to you soon.
Take care,
Appreciate
Charlie.
It. You guys have
See
a
you,
good
Charlie.
one.
You too. Later. And then there were 3.
And then there's 3.
Survivor.
So I want to hit this quickly with you, Troy. Looking at the middle of the Eastern Conference rankings right now, you have a deadlock with Miami Heat, 76ers, Orlando Magic, and Pacers.
Yep.
It's kind of, to me, it looks like the Celtics, the Cavs, the Bucks are the class of the East with that big cloud of who cares in the middle right now. The Sixers kind of underperforming.
Yeah.
Where's it come for you? And you're in a little neck of the woods there. I mean, what's the vibe for you guys looking at what the Sixers are doing and what's going to happen in the Eastern Conference?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't see anybody sneaking up on any of those top teams like the Heat did last year, and I don't see it again. Now, it could be wrong again, but I think one of those top 3 teams will be representing the Eastern Conference in the finals for sure. Celtics look really, really tough. They're playing good ball.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm looking at the standings here now. It shows they're on a 9-game win streak.
Yeah.
27-3 at home. Now I know Aaron was talking about the home court advantage and all that kind of stuff, but 27-3 is a little bit of a different story. That's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it looks like they're going to get the number 1 seed and going to have that home court, and that's going to be big. So it looks like the Celtics are the team to beat in the East for sure. I don't know that anybody's going to touch them with what I'm seeing.
Okay. Aaron, anything else to add there?
I will say this: out of the 4 teams that you mentioned there that are in the middle, again, coming at this as a Bucks fan, the Pacers scare the hell out of me. And
Okay.
I don't know what it is about them. And again, all of the Bucks problems with the Pacers happened, early in the year. So maybe, they right the ship, they start playing better defense like they have been, and and everything's fine if they end up meeting in the playoffs. But that's a team that for whatever reason right now has the Bucks number, I feel like, or either I think they've beat them like 3 times or something like that already this season. And yeah, but I would agree that the 3 teams mentioned, I mean, the Cavaliers, the Celtics, and the Bucks are the kind of the cream of the crop in the Eastern Conference.
So let's just this video a little bit, just trying to get a little chance in this. So my thing is this: out of pocket takes here for a second. Is there a weirder name in sports than the Pacers? Maybe the Packers?
I mean, the Bills, right?
Well, I mean, like the Bills, I'll admit the Packers are kind of like, what's going on here? The Pacers, it's a weird name. Just I had to go out of pocket for a second and say that's a.
How many lakes are in Los Angeles?
Yeah, exactly. How many lakes are in Los Angeles?
But
Squirrel.
Yeah, sorry, ADHD kicks in once in a while.
No, it is funny though. But people always say that too. And I think there was even a meme flying around about the Bills. Okay, we're gonna name you the Buffalo Bills. Oh, so you're gonna have a mascot of a bill or whatever. And he's like, no, we're gonna have a mascot of Buffalo, but that's the city. You can't have a mascot of the city. So it kind of is weird that their mascot is the city. What is a bill? Obviously, I don't know if anybody knows the story, but they were named after Buffalo Bill Cody. But yeah, it is funny. The Bills. What are the Bills? I don't want to pay the bills,
Yeah, who cheers for Bills? Jeez.
Bar tabs I'm okay with, but the rest of the Bills, forget about it.
Yeah.
Go in the Western Conference here, guys. For the passive fan, props to the Thunder and the Timberwolves right now. 42-17 and 41-17. That sticks up on you a little bit.
It does.
The Wolves have 2 big men who can play. That's great. But looking at some of the whole here, I mean, the Wolves, to me, overall look at the class. However, the Nuggets are right there still too. Joker's still alive at 40-19. We know we're getting Nuggets back in a deep run here. But what interests me the most here, honestly, is the Warriors sitting back at 30-27 and a 10 seed currently.
Yep.
Is this? We've been watching it kind of fade for a while now. But is this now when Dre, Clay, and Steph are truly fading out of relevancy? And do we see the Warriors miss the playoffs with all of them healthy?
I don't think so. Only because I don't see anybody behind them that's going to catch them, that's going to sneak up on them. Jazz of the old could. I don't think this Jazz team could. No, I think they still get in as that 10 seed. But how does that work? They got to play the 9 seed then. So
they play the 7 seed, I believe, and then
I thought 7-8
8 seed.
I thought 7-8 plays, and whoever wins that game is automatically in. And then whoever loses plays the winner of the 9-10 game.
Correct. You're right. Yep. So they would play. Would they play the Lakers? I don't have it up.
Yeah, as of right now, they would.
Were those guys making this playoff format?
I know.
I've seen a lot of weird formats. those dudes are smoking some serious stuff, and they made this.
You
game
know what?
better.
Just because you put something in during COVID, which is fine. You want to change it up a little bit because you know
Absolutely.
everyone's stuck in there. I get it. Doesn't mean you have to stick with it once COVID's over. It
Right.
really doesn't. Just
Right.
get rid of the stupid play-in tournament. You know, like I like if I were a 7 or an 8 seed, and I get, you know, the idea always is, well, hey, as long as you win your game, you know, you don't have to worry about it. But if I have one bad game and end up getting knocked out of the playoffs by a 9 or 10 seed, I'm pissed. You know, and if
Yeah,
I'm a fan base, I'm like,
Absolutely.
look, we went through this god awful marathon of these 82 games that we're stuck watching with, was it load maintenance or load management and all this other crap?
Yeah, yep.
You know, like we got stuck with that, and now we're not even going to make the playoffs, even though technically we were one of the, you know, top 8 teams. I think it's
And a
just
crap
stupid.
tournament to boot.
Yeah, exactly. So
No, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I T-Wolves, this is where they kind of were last. Don't they go in as the 2 seed last year and get knocked out of the first round? Pretty sure they did.
I don't know if they were a 2 seed, but they were. I think they had home court advantage in their first round, whatever seed they were. And yeah, you're right. They got bumped out. You know, I will say, going back to your point though, Ben, I didn't realize until the other night when the Bucks played them. I think the first game after the All-Star break, at least for the Bucks, that they were the number 1 team in the Western Conference. I mean, that's of course that says kind of how much I pay attention to like non-Bucks basketball in the playoffs or in the regular season. But I would agree. Kudos to them. But I still, if I had to pick somebody right now, I still think Denver finds a way just because I think they have that experience. I mean, you can get the number 1 seed in the playoffs, you know, but that doesn't necessarily mean you know how to, you know, finish an important series, because just like the NHL, just like Major League Baseball, just like the NFL, the playoffs are a different animal in the NBA. So
Second season. 100%
Yeah, exactly.
Second season.
the important season.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to cut anything off here, but looking at as a whole, I mean, the West is interesting. It's been the powerhouse for a long time, but I feel like it's kind of shifted a little bit back towards the East right now. Because I'm looking at the top 6 in the East are all legitimate. I mean, there's not a team in the top 6 to me right now. I know they're right there with that, you know, in that bubble, but I mean, the Heat the Heat at 5, and then the Sixers at 6. Those are legitimate teams. When the Knicks at 4 are your biggest question mark, like, you got a pretty good group of teams in the top here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's me wanting the East to be relevant again. But looking at this, I feel like the East is not garbage anymore.
No, I think the West is still stronger, but I think the East is catching up.
Yeah.
I would agree with Troy on that one. I mean, when you look at the number 10 seed in the Western Conference, and they're still above 500, but you look at the 8, 9, and 10 in the Eastern Conference, and they're like way below 500. I mean, you know, but you're right. Sometimes that's not as important as, okay, who are your top teams?
Right.
You know, if your top 3 teams or top 4 teams are better than the other conferences top 3 or 4, you know, then you can make that argument that, you know, one conference is better than the other. So
In reality,
the Suns are gonna make a run. I think the Suns are going to make a run this year.
you think so?
I think Booker is going to really show out in the playoffs this year. I really do. I think the Suns are going to make a run. I think they're going to. I wouldn't be surprised if they finally get back to the finals. Was that during COVID when they went in? I think it was.
No, that was against the Bucks. So
okay.
That was after
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah.
Well, during COVID, but not COVID. Whatever. Not the bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the bubble.
2021, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, looking at the West in general, to me, the way I see this is the Lakers are making it, the Warriors are making it, the Kings are making it, the Mavs. I'm actually watching the Pels. The Pelicans, and there's pressure on Zion Williamson to show up and really make that statement for himself. And I think Zion carries the Pelicans at least through a first-round victory and maybe surprise some people with a deeper run. it's pieces of Big Baby all over again to me. Like the guy is just he's not exactly the epitome of fitness, but the guy can play basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look at the Pelicans, the team that I think can make a run in the West yet. The Thunder never inspire me. The Wolves, for the sake of Minnesota, the one of the few teams besides Minnesota United Loons that I can cheer for. Like, go ahead, Wolves, go get you some. But I don't think they're gonna stick around. Their guard play is not strong enough.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, looking at the West, I still feel like, in a weird feeling, again, this is a homer take. I get it, but the Bucks and the Nuggets at their 3 seeds still feel like they're kind of in that position of like, that's who I expect in the finals. I expect a Bucks Nuggets finals. Homer take.
I mean, I could see it for sure. I mean, it's not impossible.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to be gunning to knock them Nuggets off this year and not get them in. I think they're going to get, obviously they're going to get everybody's best shot in the playoffs. And I just feel like Booker, now that he's had a full year here to play with Kevin Durant, I think it's going to really help him a lot when it comes to playoff time, because they're going to be focusing a lot on Kevin more than they have in the past. And I think it's really going to shine. I think you'll see Booker as probably get the playoff MVP this year. That's what I'm calling. I think Booker's going to show out.
You know what? I don't hate that. I really don't. But I feel like Chris Paul and Durant both are in that category of they're always being the bridesmaid team. Those guys can't find a way into that winning team for whatever reason. Great players. Hall of Fame players, no doubt. I got that.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris Paul and Kevin Durant are not MVPs because they can't carry a team to greatness. They can carry a team to goodness, but not to greatness.
Yeah. I would, the only thing I would disagree with you on that. I would say, yes, what you said is correct with Chris Paul. I guess I give Durant a little more credit than that, just for what he did in Golden State, even though I realized they had Steph Curry, they had Clay before he, messed up his knees and all that, and what was that?
Third best player on the team, arguably. A contribution.
I don't know. I like I said, but I will agree with you on that. They do seem to be the bridesmaid team. And until somebody shows that they can, knock off the Nuggets were just so amazing last year in the playoffs. I mean, they just like nobody even came close to, to competing with them.
To that same point, though, who can hate on Joker? Talk about a likable guy. He wants to go back to his homeland and go ride horses and party with his buddies. You know what? I get that. Screw the parades. I'm going home to ride horses and drink beer. Good on you, Joker. I like it.
I would agree with that.
That's how Wisconsin coming out, I suppose, a little bit, but it is what it is. But switching gears here a little bit, we talked a lot last year about this down the stretch, and I want to kind of get going on this a little bit. But the NHL, look, the Panthers look stupid good again this year. I mean, they're phenomenal. The Leafs may actually not screw it up this year, but they're kind of still playing with it. And the Bruins, at least, are not the 1 seed this year. But going into that wild card picture, the Wings and the Lightning are in good position with a little pile behind them in the Devils, Islanders, Penguins, Caps, and I'll include Troy Sabres in that comment as well.
They're not. Hey, they knocked off the Lightning tonight, though.
That's what I'm saying. But points-wise, the Sabres have 60 points. The Lightning have 70.
Yep.
This is not unreachable at this point.
It's not, but that's a lot. I mean, is there 20? I guess the Sabres still have 22 games, because actually the Lightning have 2 games in hand too. So that's a 4-point swing as well. So
right. I mean, but looking at the history of recent history at least, but the Penguins are kind of just going into obscurity with Malkin and Crosby is kind of in that twilight of their career, and they're fading. Ovechkin and the kids are kind of fading in the Capitals as well. I hate saying it, but it's reality. But looking for those Hershey Bears coming up and making that team great again. But the Islanders and Devils at 64 points are still, in my mind, light years away from the Lightning, even at 70 points. the Red Wings kind of the surprise team there. The biggest
Flyers. Nobody expected the Flyers to be.
The Flyers at 69 points are still reachable for the Devils, in my opinion. If I'm making a prediction, the Flyers are going to flyer, and they're going to screw that up. I think the Devils get in that Flyer spot. That's just me, though.
I can see that.
But I've talked a lot here, guys. I guess anything you see in the East that kind of catches your attention, teams you want to watch down the stretch?
The only thing that catches my attention in the East is just like Florida. I mean, they got hot at the end of the year last year. And other than losing in the finals, they haven't stopped. Like, it's insane. I just did not see that coming from this team. I mean, they are playing phenomenal hockey. 20 losses on the year. So basically 40-20 with 4 of them being in overtime. Just, I mean, unbelievable how they're doing this. The Flyers, like I said, that they really surprised me. I do see the Devils dropping below them surprises me, and I could see Jersey catching Philly. I agree with you on that, Ben. I just don't see Buffalo catching them. They're playing really good hockey right now. They've won 4 of their last 5. But, I mean, their schedule doesn't get any easier. They got Vegas next, and everybody knows how much Eichel likes to beat up on his former team. But yeah, sticking with the East here, I don't see much changing other than maybe Jersey jumping over Philly. Other than that, I think it'll probably play out the way it is.
Aaron, anything to kind of add there or not? Where you at?
No, I think you guys covered it pretty good.
Well, fair enough.
I'm thinking of the Gambler game the other night. That's about the most I pay attention to hockey. So I'll let you guys talk, and I enjoy it.
All right. So with that said, looking at the West, I see a lot in the West that's up for grabs.
Very tight.
I mean, the West going from the Kraken at 61 points, even to the top of the Canucks at 83. I feel like all of those teams there and in between, they're kind of fair game right now.
It's a lot of shuffling going to happen here.
The Jets, the Stars, the Avs, the Canucks, the Knights, the Oilers, we know they're all good.
Yep.
But the Kings, Preds, Flames, Blues, Wild, and Kraken are all right there. It's the joy of hockey, right? I mean, it's one of the hardest ones for me to bet. I mean, who's going to score tonight? Only God knows who's scoring tonight. So I'm looking at the West and saying, if I'm watching hockey, if you're going to watch your ESPN Plus subscription, stay up late, watch some West Coast hockey, and enjoy yourself because this is going to be a wild ride these next few weeks. So we got roughly a month and a half, 2 months till. So
yeah, about 20 to 25 games left, depending on where you are and where your team's played and stuff like that. But I mean, boy, Nashville just went on a tear here. They just won 5 in a row here. I mean, I don't really watch the West Coast too much. As much as it kills me to say because of Eichel playing for Vegas now, I do enjoy watching Vegas play. I don't know that they're going to get back again, though. Winnipeg's playing really good. Right. I think, and this was my pick last year, and I'm going to go with it again. I think somehow or another the Avalanche sneak into this thing, and I think the Avalanche are the team to watch. I think they're going to make a run at this. I seen them last year, and I thought they were going to make a run, and didn't end up panning out. So I'll go with them this year. Maybe I was a year early.
I like it. For me, the Avalanche and the Stars are kind of like the Dolphins and Bills. They're both fun to watch. They both hate each other, but they're really good teams. And so I'm kind of looking at those two as whoever survives that going down the stretch is going to be that team that I'm kind of picking. Winnipeg can't get over themselves. The Canucks, I never trust, period. Small part of me wants to see Edmonton kind of do it without Gretzky. Connor McDavid's there, go get it. But on the other side, screw Edmonton or whatever. So going to a different conversation here, guys. We're up against the hour here a little bit, but I want to ask you guys a few more questions here just in general.
Sure.
What are you watching in sports, and what's got your attention right now? It's kind of that weird lull period, right?
Yeah,
But-
it really is.
But we're sports fans. We can't help ourselves. Aaron, what's got your attention, and what are you kind of thinking about right now?
Okay, well, I might surprise you guys by saying this, but
Baseball.
yes.
Wow.
I'm excited about I'm excited about baseball. I will say I'm kind of excited about seeing what the new United Football League has to offer at the end of March. But there's some this time of year, like football is my favorite by far. But and maybe it's because we live in Wisconsin, we live in the north where it gets cold. Like you see baseball, even though it's down in Arizona and Florida, you just start thinking, oh, it's going to get warm soon. It's going to, it's going to be nice. I love winter, but after like 2 or 3 months, I'm like, okay, now we can be done with that, and baseball is just a reminder of that. So now again, I'm not, unless I'm at a game, I'm not sitting there intently watching a June or July game like our buddy Brandon Combs down in Chicago, loves baseball all the time, but I'm not like that. But yeah, I enjoy opening day or even opening weekend. Kind of that whole weekend is
Yeah,
fun.
it's fun. Yeah.
And then afterwards,
Aaron, Brandon does love losers. All love Brandon. We love you, buddy.
But then of course, and I will say, I mean, March Madness, that's always a fun time. Summer Olympics are coming up. That's true. Where is the Summer Olympics, by the way, this year?
Paris.
Okay. See, that's the thing that sucks about the Olympic. Either the winter or the Summer Olympics.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, but it's like if I already know who won,
Yep.
and I'm not going to sit there and avoid listening to the radio just so I don't get stuff ruined. If I hear it's like, oh, some historic performance happened, I'll watch it.
Then I'll watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, it's like I love track and field in the summer. I love basketball in the Summer Olympics. Obviously, winter. I love watching the hockey and stuff. But if it's in another country where it's like 6 hours ahead or 8 hours behind or whatever, I'm like, I can't get in. I can't wait till it's in LA in 2028. I think is when the Summer Olympics are going to be. And flag football is going to be a sport.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Anyway, yes,
It
it
is,
is.
yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
wow.
sorry.
Check that out. That's interesting.
NFL has also already approved players playing and encouraging them to play.
Which is
in
stupid.
the Olympics.
It's just stupid. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I love the dream team, but I you know what? You already have the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is 10 times bigger than Olympic flag football is ever going to be. Okay.
But isn't it supposed to be the best athletes from your country? And that's
sure, but I guarantee you, any American athlete, amateur athlete that's going to play flag football is going to be better than at least this first time around. I don't think you're going to, I mean, flag football is played in America. It's not like you have.
You'd be surprised though, Aaron.
Really?
Europeans play flag football.
Do they?
Especially the women. They feature that a little bit. Like they play.
Well, I can see the women. Yeah. But I
mean, in general, for me, I'm looking at this. Imagine Tyreek Hill with flags on his hips. Good freaking luck. He's hard enough to tackle, much less with flags on his hips.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is where Usain Bolt, you want to play for Jamaica? Brother, I'm watching. I'm there for it.
That's true. I would watch that.
Yeah.
See him outrun the ball every damn time. That'd be like, okay, who's saying? Slow down a little bit. Slow down, buddy.
It's a wide receiver screen.
Yeah.
So no, we the summer guys, those who are watching, I love the Olympics as well. It's one of my like family traditions. From opening ceremony to closing ceremony, I watch way too much. And Peacock / NBC Sports becomes my life for a while, those 2 weeks. But I mean, whether it's fencing, it's curling in the winter, speed skating, I learned new sports because it's part of what part of been ingrained in me from childhood was appreciate greatness, no matter what form it takes. If it's on the stage of musical theater, if it's on the ice skating rink, in figure skating or speed skating or whatever it is, enjoy greatness. And that's what I think I'm hoping that my kids will take from me on this one is watch the Olympics to see greatness and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Drink it in, man. It's there for you.
Oh man.
Troy, what are you watching right now?
Oh man. Tell you what, like I didn't think I would be because I was a big Kevin Harvick fan, but I've really been getting into racing so far this year. It's been a lot of fun.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't really picked a driver yet. I do like Kyle Larson. So I don't know if I'm going to stick with him, but there's a couple other guys I've been watching as well. I really like Austin Cindric. I think he's a lot of fun to watch. Get ready for some of these.
We're a Logano family. That's
okay. Okay. Getting ready for some of these big golf tournaments to start. The Masters, that'll be April 10th or something like that. I don't know. Sometime.
Speaking of which, Desert Bacon, please look to the Desert Bacon page. I'll be putting a little for fun pool out there for us for the Masters. I'm picking 5 golfers, so more to come on that here soon.
Nice.
Beautiful. Yeah, so I'll really get into that. Like Aaron said, as much as baseball doesn't matter until the end of July, beginning of August, I do enjoy those first couple days, even up to the first couple weeks. I really enjoy it, just to kind of see what's going on. Just hearing that crack of the bat, like Aaron said, it just kind of reminds me that summer's right around the corner. Here it comes. Yep. So yeah, I'll enjoy that. Got to get through these next couple weeks. I mean, March Madness will start. Then we'll start getting into all, and I know this isn't really watching it per se, but it kind of is free agency watch, draft watch, like all that kind of stuff. That's a lot of fun too. So yeah, I mean, even though we're not in peak season right now, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to watch. WrestleMania right around the corner. Here we come with that.
100%.
Yeah. So I mean, huge stuff coming up. I mean, this is a good time too, just because we don't have main stage American football going on right now. UFL, let's see what they have to offer. Like Aaron said, I'm excited about that. I thought they were really on they had a good thing going right before COVID shut them down. And I was really disappointed in that. I thought they were really gaining traction. As odd as that was, there were some good players that were in that league, and COVID came and kind of put a bosh on it. Now let's see if they can bounce back. I thought last year they did okay, but let's see if they can gain traction and keep going. And I like the merge. And I was just talking with some buddies about this tonight. What has The Rock done that's failed? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got a hand in this, so I have faith that he's going to figure a way out to make this work. And
that's what I was kind of when they were talking about the merger before it actually became official. I was like, God, The Rock better be sticking with it and having like some big hand in it, because otherwise, what was the point of doing the XFL for a season and then
I think
moving on? So
I think he's on record as saying that he wants this to end up being a feeder league to the NFL.
Yeah,
well, it kind of is already, but not totally. I think it'd be cool if we got to the point where each team, now this is way down the road, but each team, okay, maybe we only do 16 teams, and each minor league team is affiliated with 2 pro teams, and then they can pick from there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. I think
they had something like that, if I'm not mistaken, way back in the day with the World League. Yeah. Where I think, because my dad loved watching that stuff, and what did they have, like 6 or 8 teams in that World League? That was about it. But each team, each team sent. It was, I can't remember who the Packers sent their players to, but it was like you got to send
Dragons and Rhine Fire,
and all those. I remember him, like, he actually had a chart that he had listed all of the teams, or all the players and what team they went to and all that stuff, so he could like sit there and it was actually pretty cool. I laughed back then and I rolled my eyes at my dad, but now that I'm getting older, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to piggyback a little bit off your guys and say, look, WrestleMania season is upon us. Revolution this week for AEW is huge. If you're even a passive wrestling fan, this is the great build up to the summer of sports. You go to April, starts off, you got opening day of baseball, WrestleMania. You have you get the kickoff of the UFL.
March Madness, you forgot that.
Well, I'm past that. April.
April,
you're talking about all this stuff's all right there. So, I mean, March Madness is great. They own March. Cool. I mean, but looking at what we have in April, to me, that's the beginning of like flowers are blooming. There's hope in the air. I don't know about you guys, but my workplace is even kind of tense right now because that seasonal affective disorder is taking full reign over people's hearts right now. Everyone's kind of pissy. Everyone's a little bit upset. Like, take some vitamin D, go sit in the sun for a little bit.
Yep.
Let's figure this thing out. But end of the day, winter is almost over.
Yep.
We can see the horizon. I mean,
See, and
here
the way you
Wisconsin-
look at April is kind of how I look at March, with March Madness. I mean, to me, that's where you start to really start to think about, the snow is finally melting, even though, granted, we don't have a ton of snow as it is right now here. But, the snow is usually starting to melt at that point. Of course, everything is brown and shitty and muddy. But anyway, it's still
That is the one thing I hate about spring. My God.
oh yeah, spring is by
I'm not
far
gonna
my.
lie, March Madness means heartbreak to me. As a Badger fan, it means heartbreak.
That's
We're
true.
going to lose. It's a matter of when. And
See,
so it's
but so
it's
I
not like
that's
it's
why
Lions fans in the World
I
Cup.
just enjoy watching all the upsets.
That's
I just
Yeah.
enjoy watching all the upsets and my bracket go to shit after the first day. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty much what
It is
never
fun to
fails.
watch all the upsets, but then you get disappointed because then they just get knocked out the next round.
Yeah. No, that's true. Except they were talking about that this morning about how last year you had 2 4 seeds, a 5 seed, and a 9 seed all in the Final Four.
Wow.
And that was, I mean, I don't see that happening necessarily again. But I will say this one thing: as much as I hate things like the transfer portal for college football, the one thing that I think it has helped kind of level the playing field a little bit for college basketball. Just because, or I don't know if it's that or if it's NIL or what exactly, but I feel like, you don't, especially, and also with the one and dones, which I hate in a lot of ways. At the same time, though, it does offer, you still have the smaller schools who have the players that stay for 3 or 4 years. That by the
Right.
time that 3 or 4 years comes along, they've gelled, and all of a sudden it's like it's an interesting comparison to look at. Okay, what really is better? Is it better to have the 3 and 4 years together where you're gelling and you're really a complete team? Or is it better just to be the blue blood and have all your guys gone after 1 or 2 seasons, and then you got to
Right.
like I feel like the gap is closing, and so now is as good a time as any for some of these unknown teams to rise up during March Madness and actually pull an upset and win a championship. I mean, granted, I still think this year it could be like UConn or Arizona or Houston, but
Marquette, baby. Marquette.
well,
here we go.
hopefully so. But again, that's the Wisconsin sports side of me going, they're going to screw this up some way.
They absolutely will. There's
I
no
hope
doubt.
not, but-
They'll screw it up. I honestly am picking Purdue this year. I'll say it right now. Purdue's the team
Really?
that I don't see losing.
Okay.
But we'll get through all that. But hey, guys, it's been fun tonight. I'm going to kick us out here.
Yep.
But thank you for the conversation, and go Pack, go as always.
Sure.
I can't help myself.
This shirt don't fit like it used to, and I need another notch on my belt. If you're looking for a six-pack, muscled up kind of man,